morning, America, how are you? Don't you know me? I'm your native son. I'm the claim they call the city of New Orleans. And I'll be gone 500 miles when the day is done.
From Good Morning America, I say good afternoon, Portland Today viewers, and we start today's show with the faces of veterans as we begin a salute to those who have served our country, because tomorrow, of course, is Veterans Day. Musician David Cooley is in studio this afternoon setting a patriotic tone. He has a free show for veterans happening tomorrow. We'll talk more about that in a moment, but we have other special guests in the studio with us. Tracy Berry is standing by. She is with a local vet, a Korean War vet, just back from a journey of heroes. Meanwhile, Kathy Marshall, you're joined on the couch with people who have shared their stories through an art project saluting veterans.
Yeah, such a creative way, Drew, to share their stories. It was through a partnership with the Vital Life Foundation and something called the Geezer Gallery, so you don't mind being called geezers, I guess.
Not at all.
Have with us Fran Walston, a World War II Navy veteran, also Doris Martin, who created an art piece really sharing her husband's journey in sort of a treasure map. She's had 4 other family members serve over a 40-year period. And also Joe Ballard, an Iraqi war veteran who met with veterans to share their story through words. Welcome to you all and happy Veterans Day.
Thank you.
I salute you early on. Fran, let's start with you. When you shared your story through the art that you created and through words with Joe, what were you trying to get across?
Well, basically, the feeling of self-satisfaction, the feeling of patriotism, the feeling of just wanting to help, to do any little thing I could to cease the war. What
caught me about your story is you told Joe, never a morning do I wake up and feel
right.
like I could have done more.
Well, this is true. And to this day, I never wake up with that one little fleeting thought. Yes, you served, you did the best you could, and for whatever it was worth, I'm very proud of the fact that I was able to serve.
And very well you should be. And Doris, you share your husband's journey in sort of a treasure map. What point did you want to say through your art?
Well, just that it was such a big part of our lives, of everybody. That was a war that included the whole nation, our town, everybody was behind it, and we spent 4 and 5 years out of our lives concentrating on it.
You talked about your husband coming back as a changed man, and you talked about living in a suburb where several people had family members serving, and you dreaded the telegram.
Oh yes, if you saw the Western Union man come down the street, everybody was at their doorway with trepidations, worrying about somebody stopping and knocking on their door. But it included all of us. We were all caught up in it.
You avoided that terrible visit. Your husband did come home.
Yes, he
did. And then you had a son go on to serve in Vietnam.
Yes, I did.
Just incredible service from
one
family.
Of them both.
Absolutely. And Joe, you had the pleasure of meeting with 8 different veterans and telling their stories, you being an Iraqi veteran. Was there a common thread in all the years that passed?
It felt like it, because when we joined the boot camp in the Marine Corps, we have to learn about all the prior wars, all the major battles, and now here I was writing about them and kind of talking about my heroes and sharing their stories.
What did you learn from Fran and Doris?
That women are strong. Well, Fran is just so patriotic and loves everything she did for her country. And Doris, you know, did everything she could at home to support her husband overseas in Europe. And they were strong, and they really helped the war efforts.
Fran, I'm sure some people hearing this are wondering, what was your role in the war? What were you doing?
Well, I was a storekeeper. And people say, what's a storekeeper? Well, it's kind of like...
Sounds important.
Well, in
we need them.
little bitty way, it was very important. I worked, well, storekeeper is like a bean counter. It's part of the inventory. We keep running inventory of everything. Of course, back in those days, we had punch cards and all that funny stuff. But anyway, I worked in what I call like a Home Depot today. It was a great big warehouse full of parts and all this stuff. And when the flat tops would come in from the South Pacific and need refilling their whatever they needed,
You helped that happen.
they would come and we'd say, okay guys, pick out what you want, and we'd help them pick them out. And then every once in a while they'd say, well, thank you very much, would you like to come aboard? And oh yeah.
Well, I'm
Oh.
guessing you ran a pretty tight ship there in the warehouse, don't you think, Doris? And then
I
she
think
went on
so.
to sing and entertain. You became
Oh,
part
yeah,
of a
yeah.
USO entertainment group. So your service just extended into so many different areas. We thank you all for coming in today and
thank
for
you for
sharing
having
your
us.
art and your words, and Joe for your work in really, you know, making sure these stories live through the years.
Well, we hope so.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much.
Tracy, let's meet